In this episode, I answer a question from a massage therapist from Texas who is struggling to figure out what kind of content to make to help them reach the type of clients they want to work with. Welcome back to the Soft Tissue Treatment Revolution podcast, where we teach massage therapists a new injury treatment system that eliminates the frustrations of not getting consistent results and produces long-lasting pain relief for the clients, all while working 50% less. If you're new to the show and you have no idea as to who I am, my name is Dr. Matt Maggio, and I got my degree in chiropractic well over 15 years ago, but I've never performed an adjustment in practice, and I focus my treatments solely on doing quality soft tissue-based work. And I believe that the best and safest treatments in the world to help fix injuries and get people out of pain are soft tissue treatments delivered by world-class massage therapists. Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out the show. All right, so let's get right into it. Let me read the question from this week. The question was, I am in year 5 of owning my business, and it just isn't growing as fast as I would like. And I often find myself taking on some clients that I don't want to work with just so I can keep the business going. I see people making all sorts of content on social media, doing some really dumb stuff and dancing around like idiots, which is something I definitely don't want to do. I've tried to make content in the past only to go back and rewatch and realize I look like a moron and the video was horrible. I do want to grow my business and help more people. And I know making content is important to do all that, but where do I get started and not look like a giant weirdo dancing around with the hopes of attracting the client I want to work with? Thanks so much for sending that question in. I hear you. There is some dumb stuff going on out there on the social medias, and some of the posts that people make, I'm just like, ooh, what are you doing? Hey, but I digress. Just a quick reminder, if you do have any questions you want me to cover, I try to use the podcast a little more for like business marketing, I guess mindset, some motivation if you need it, things like that. I tend to do more of the clinical stuff, like the treatment, the palpations, demonstrations, like breakdowns on the YouTube channel as well. So if you haven't subscribed to that, it's in the show notes or wherever you're consuming this video. But yeah, definitely a good question. I wanted to start it off with 2 concepts. First is, what is marketing? So many people hear marketing and they're like, what is this? It's scary. What do I do? Do I need to hire somebody? Do I need to outsource it? All it is, in a general standpoint, is making someone aware that you exist. Marketing is making it aware that you exist. And a lot of people don't know that you exist, because here's the thing. If they don't know you, they can't flow you. I got that from somebody. I don't remember who it was. But one of the most powerful statements I ever heard from a mentor early in my career, when I was like struggling the same way that this person was, like making content and feeling dumb and feeling stupid, was he said, Matt, there is someone out there right now that is crying themselves to sleep every night with a problem that you can fix, but they don't even know that you exist. So that's where it goes back to. Marketing helps people become aware that you can actually help. So I wanted to break this down into like a 4-step process to really help you get the right type of clients. So many manual therapists, massage therapists struggle and they want to be able to treat and help everyone. But you get those pain in the butt people that just want it for cheap, for free. They want to run the show. They want to do everything. You don't want to work with those people. So the first step is, first, just decide who you want to help. I always say, if you're for everybody, then you're for nobody. I myself, and what I do is I recommend chronic pain sufferers, people that have been in chronic pain. When I say chronic pain, is they've been dealing with it for at least 6 months. It's a huge market and it's very underserved and underdelivered in the current medical model. And then to add on to that, you should have like a specific or specificity of what you do and what you treat. I recommend either being like a neck, headaches, upper back and shoulder person, or a low back, hip, and sciatica. Trying to be all of it really puts you in a bad spot. So go after the chronic pain sufferers and then have a specific condition that you treat. That's going to help you stand out in your area even more. Next is just decide what you want to offer. A confused client is never clear. A lot of times clients land on your website. There's like 12 different things that they can book and 12 different services, and they really don't know what to do. Could it be a 30, a 90, a 5-hour massage or treatment like that? They don't really know. What I always like to do, and whenever I'm making content and I put it out there, I always have a clear offer. And my clear offer is book a no charge injury consultation. I call it a no charge consultation because if I say free, free has like these different vibes and feelings behind it. But basically what I do is I get them on the phone or a Zoom and we have a conversation about what's going on and make sure that I'm going to be able to help. That allows me to also work with the right type of clients. I want to see people that are in chronic pain, have the issues that I work on, been trying to get relief from other places and been active in their care. That's what I offer. So when I'm making content, I always say, hey, at the end, hey, if you need help, send us a DM or click the website, request a consultation, always being clear about what to do. Because if you're not clear, the client really doesn't know what to do or how to take action. Don't put things like, hey, comment, like, or share. That's 3 things. That's not going to really help. And it's not going to really help you get the client either, because who cares if they comment, like, or share? You want them to take an action of reaching out, raising their hand, and saying that they need your help. Next, when you're making the content, focus solely on educating them how you can be a solution to the problem. There's different types of content you can make. You can make motivational content. You can make content that entertains them, or you can make educational content. What happens with a lot of like people first starting out is they want to be a little bit of everything. They want to make some funny posts. They want to do things like that. I'm like, hey, if you want people to take you serious, you want to be that person who gets that reputation as like a true problem solver, just educate them about what you do. And when you're making content, it's really easy formula that I use and I recommend. I call it the problem, agitate, and then solve formula. So basically if I'm reaching out, I'm like, hey, got that constant knot in your neck, tried all the stretching, all the foam rolling, all the deep tissue massages, all the chiropractic adjustments, and that problem keeps coming back. What's actually going on is there's a nerve getting stuck inside there, and it gets stuck inside the muscle, and it needs just the right amount of depth and tension to break it down. That's what I specialize in treating. So if you're tired of having tight traps, wasting money on endless treatments that aren't getting better, send us a message and reach out and request a no charge consultation and see what we can do to help. So you see what I did there? I identified the problem. Hey, you got this. Hey, you're doing all this extra stuff. Here's what we do. Here's what we specialize. And then I gave them a clear call to action. Reach out and request a no charge consultation. Lastly, and I think this is the most important, is make content consistently. A lot of people, they make stuff, they go and they're like, oh, didn't get a lot of views. Oh, I look stupid. I'm not going to do it again. People really just get consistent in what they see, and don't worry about how it looks. Just continue to share information, and having content really works really well. Especially as you get a new client or they come in, maybe it's on your social media profile, maybe it's on your like Instagram page, and they come in and maybe they see you and they look and you got like 2 posts ever. And one of them's you do one of those stupid reels where you're like pointing around and dancing and saying a bunch of dumb stuff and they're like, this person doesn't look like they can help me. But having that consistent content shows up because people need to see your information for a long time before they actually are ready to buy. So if they go on your page and they look and they're like, oh, they talked about this, I have that problem. And then they consume more and more of your material, your information, your content. It's really going to help them trust you as that true problem solver. So those are the 4 steps. Like I said, decide who you want to help. I say chronic pain, and then have a specific area you treat. Decide on what you want to offer. No charge consultation. Educate them. Quit making those stupid videos where you're like dancing around and doing stuff like that. No one's going to actually take you serious. It might get a lot of engagement and likes and comments and all that stuff, but they're not going to buy from you because they're not going to take you serious. If their shoulder's hurting and they want a solution, they're not going to go to some weirdo dancing around. They're going to go to like the orthopedic doctor who's like, I'm a dork and this is all I do. Like, be the dork. It's okay to be the dork because education sells as well. And lastly, just do it consistently. Even if you commit to once a week, that starts. But if like you're making a post and then you're not doing anything for a long time, then you pop up again, they don't know that. Because think of the content that you follow are the things that you do. I have podcasts that I like. I have videos that I see each week. And when like that creator misses something, I'm like, man, what's going on? It's Wednesday and their podcast isn't out yet. You want to continue to have that consistency and show up because it's going to help you on the back end. And lastly, this is so important. When people do engage, maybe they comment or reach out, actually follow up with them and continue to follow up with them. Don't just send them one message and be like, hey, I saw this. Like, think of this person as like they're what's called a hot lead. They've already said that they're interested in what you do, and then they might get busy. So like follow up again the next day and then follow up one more time. I follow up like until they tell me to stop, because I really look at this as they need my help. They reached out and I want to help them. So don't just leave it at one. Continue to go, hammer it more and more, and get good content out there and stop worrying what it looks like and just educate them about how you can help. That's all I got in the video or the podcast or however you're consuming it. As I close out every episode, go out there and be great this week. The world needs access to your amazing treatments so they can stay the hell away from the traditional medical model of pain pills, injections, and surgeries, which only make things worse and definitely ruins people's lives. I appreciate you listening or watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.